The euro hit a critical support area this week, plus we're seeing an internal bullish shift, and we have some buy-side imbalances that could come into play later this week. So I'll have all the details in today's video. If we haven't met yet, my name is Justin Bennett, full-time trader since 2011. As always, all of this is my opinion only and not financial advice. So looking at the Euro USD here, I'm going to go to a daily time frame first before we get into the actual, hourly time frame, getting into the details here, because I do want to show you something that's going to be critical when you're evaluating these markets. So here on the Euro USD daily time frame, you can see that back here we have had an uptrend really since back here in 2025. Now this extends back, and you can see where we did have a lower low from here, so higher highs and higher lows. But quickly here on the weekly time frame, I do want to show you this because technically speaking, right, this market has been in a downtrend. I'm not going to spend a lot of time here just because obviously the weekly time frame is very slow moving, but I did want to point this out because the last BOS that we had was back here. And furthermore, you can see that off of this external high down here to the external low, really the euro is right now trading in OTE and has been for some time. So this is critical to understand, even if you're trading something like the hourly time frame, because as you can see here, again, external high up here, external low down here. And right now we are trading in OTE, which is the optimal trade entry. This is where we tend to see markets reverse within a trend like this. However, structure is key. So speaking of structure, what we can do here, now that we know that we are in that weekly OTE here, okay, if we go down to a daily time frame, what is going to be key for the euro is you can see that going back here, I'm going to do this quickly here so that we can get down to the hourly time frame and talk about some setups here this month, okay, because we are getting some movement so far in March on the back of what's happening in Iran. So looking at these higher highs and higher lows, right, we have a BOS along the way, okay? So this up here, right, this last BOS, these are all breakup structures. Now, what you'll notice here is that within this context, okay, so within this high over here to this high, we have this low right down here. So this right now is our external low on the daily time frame. Okay, so what we can do is plot this out from this low down here, drag a level across. We know that this is our external low. So essentially, as long as we're above this low down here, then really we are still in an uptrend, okay? And really ultimately sideways, okay? Now, the one thing here is that you can see that off of this low right here, so this low and this high up here, this is all internal, okay? So we did have an internal, what I'm gonna call an IBOS, an internal breakup structure here, and this is our external low. Now, so far, the euro is holding above this internal low back here. So if we were to get a close below here, this would essentially be an internal change of character. This down here, though, is the external low. So I'm showing you all of this just to show you that the euro is at a critical level right now on the higher time frames. Okay, so this context is really key when you drop down to a 4-hour or hourly time frame. Now let's go ahead and get into the hourly time frame here on the euro, keeping in mind what we just looked at on the daily. And by the way, guys, if you want to trade exactly like this, if you want to see how I trade SMC full time, check out the link somewhere here on the screen. That is going to give you a free SMC course. It is completely free, and it will show you exactly how I use SMC to trade full time. It's basically 2 hours of content that you will not find on YouTube. So check that out here on the screen. If you don't see it here, check the pinned comment below. Okay, so with the Euro USD here on the hourly, and in fact, I'm going to go to a 4-hour here really quickly because I want to show you something as well, that this right here, okay, so this channel off of this closing price back here, if we anchor this to these highs up here, what you'll notice is that the euro for the most part has been moving within this channel. Okay, going back here to these lows, again, these are the lows that gave us that change of character back here. And even though this was mostly internal to this price leg, I mean, clearly this was significant. Okay, the fact that we closed below those lows because since that time, we've just had lower lows and lower highs. So right now we can see that the euro is coming off of this area as well. So not only is this coming off of that internal low right back here, which you can see here on the 4-hour time frame as well. So this low back here, not only are we coming off of this, but we're also coming off the bottom of this channel. So right now the euro is at a critical support level here on the 4-hour time frame, the same on the daily time frame as well. So at the moment, guys, I think that shorts are out of the question, at least for me, because we've had this very aggressive drop. We had the BOS back here. Yes, sellers are in control, but right now the market is trading down here in discount when you consider this high up here, external high to external low. So let me show you what I mean. And before I do that too, I'm going to show you this as well, because this is also important. So going back here to a daily time frame, when we talk about markets loving symmetry and markets being mean reverting, what that means is that if you look here from these lows, okay, up here to the highs, what you'll notice is that essentially the euro has been doing this now all the way back here in 2025. So we have these lows down here. All right, so highs up here, and we have these lows down here off of this level. Okay, so if you imagine that we have a mean or midline through here, the market is essentially just revolving around this. And what you can see is that the euro is at essentially a confluence of support down here. All right, so really important. Again, when you're looking for shorts down here, in my opinion, as of right now, those are off the table, because what I was looking for early this week was we had this gap down. Okay, over the weekend, we had the gap down. We then had this BOS. Now, the moment that this was secured with this move down here, I was looking for a retrace into this imbalance to potentially look to get short, okay? So that was the last video I made. Now, we did not get that, so I didn't short because I'm not going to chase this market. My rules, which are part of the system that I've developed called Stack, one of my rules there says that I cannot short in discount. So what I mean by that is if we look at this high up here, this is our external high. Again, we find this by taking this BOS, this low over here, this point over here, drawing vertical lines here, and saying, okay, what is the highest point within this? It's this one back here. So this is our external high following this hourly BOS. So with that in mind, what we can do here is we can take our fibs from this high up here. Okay, so fibs off of this high down here to the low. And what you'll notice is that this right here is OTE. Now, this 50% line too is also the dividing line between this down here, which is discount, and this up here, which is premium. So one of my rules says that I have to short in premium, meaning that I cannot short down here. Okay, and this keeps me away from, chasing a market. So if I'm waiting for a move above the 50% line, then basically once we get up here, I can start looking for shorts, but I cannot look for shorts down here in this red area. So with that in mind, guys, we know that this right here is our 50% line. So if we take a level, a horizontal level, just really simple, and just draw it across here, I know that this is basically my line to where I cannot short below this. I have to wait for a move above here. So this also makes these imbalances through here kind of off the table, because notice how we're below this 50% line, okay? So what I'm looking for now is a move up here to mitigate this imbalance. So if we draw a rectangle around these two candles back here, and I'll show you exactly what I mean. If I move in here on the hourly time frame, you'll notice that off of this low right here and this high. Okay, so essentially these two candles, notice how especially this candle right here, we did not get any retrace into this. Okay, so this is a void in the market. And if you look here, okay, this is an FEG. And if you look at the lower time frames, this is littered with FEGs through here as well. Okay, so I want to see the market come up here and mitigate this imbalance before I look for shorts. So if you've seen my other videos, guys, on how I trade, including that free course, which again, check out that link in the description if you don't see it, or if you didn't grab it on the screen earlier. But this up here, what I'm looking for now is, okay, we have the BOS here telling us that sellers remain in control. Now, with that in mind, I know that this is my 50% line, so I have to short above here. And I also know that this is my imbalance, which also aligns with OTE. So what I'm looking for now is some relief here from the euro to come up here and mitigate this imbalance. And then from here, what I'll do is I will drop to a lower time frame to look for a structure shift. Okay, so a change of character on the lower time frames to get short. Okay, so that's the general idea here. Now, it doesn't mean that it will materialize, but I also know that in this case here, if I'm able to wait for that, something like this, I mean, this kind of a range, this kind of a trend, could be easily a 5 to 1, 7 to 1, even 8 to 1 reward to risk. What that means is that your reward is essentially 5 times your risk or better. Okay, so it's worth waiting for. And again, my rules are there for a reason, and you can see the relief that we've had here from the euro so far. Now, if we look at the 15-minute time frame, this is what I mentioned in Discord right before I went to bed, in fact. And this is one of the advantages of being in Discord, is that you can see that back here, if we mark this out, this right here was an internal BOS, okay? And this was an internal, or I'm sorry, this was an internal change of character, my bad. And this down here was an internal BOS. So you can see here that within this trend, right? So if we look at this in this way, you can see that back here, okay, all the way back here, this was our external high that we looked at before. This down here was our external low. Now everything in between there is going to be internal, hence the reason that I have these labeled as internal BOS and internal change of character. So right now you can see that we had the shift back here. We had the close below. Okay, so acceptance below. We then had the acceptance above this high up here. Now we had the pullback down here into the imbalance, and in Discord, this point right here, this price is where I mentioned how we had this internal shift, and that this area down here, okay, was the one that had to hold for the euro to essentially show us some relief. And so far, we have gotten that with internal structure shift here, and also higher highs and higher lows here on the 15-minute chart. So far, guys, we are seeing that relief. So I think that, bottom line here, if you were able to catch this short earlier, then, well done. But right now, I think you've got to be careful because we are coming off of a massive support area, a confluence of support for the euro. And also we do have that internal bullish structure shift here. Plus, like I said, we do have imbalances through this area up here. And then we also have more up here in this region, okay? So I think that if the market is going to come up here and rebalance these inefficiencies, okay, to give us that efficient auction, then these are the areas to watch. 116.60. If we get through this, then we're looking at 117.60. If this video helps, subscribe to the channel. Also check out that free SMC course. It's going to show you exactly how I trade SMC full time. So check out the link here on this screen for that. And until next time, trade well. I will talk to you again tomorrow.